Aloha again, beautiful souls. It's Karina coming to you from Hawaii, and I wanted to talk to you today about how I keep my vibrations high. And one of the ways I keep my vibrations high is by not watching the news. So let me explain and clarify things. I do keep up with the news, I just read it instead of look at it. I am a number one kinesthetic learner and then number two visual, and probably like equal on those two, maybe just a little bit higher with kinesthetic. But since I'm a visual learner, I absorb things very easily visually. And being an empath, on top of that, where things I see affect me in my heart chakra or my heart, the feeling of my heart, and affect my mind, I try to limit seeing bad sights. And well, when you think of it that way, you say, well, what do you do for news? Well, there's plenty of other news sources. Auditory is my least way to learn, so I like listening a lot to news stories on the radio. I can just hear because I'll pick up just what I need to pick up and really not pay attention to any opinions or any, um, tug at the heartstrings and hear the story for what it is. Now, another reason I also don't like watching the news is because a lot of bad stories are repeated. They're repeated over and over again, and I understand the need for it. Some people don't get the message right away, so you have to repeat and repeat and repeat. Well, that's not for me. What I'm telling you right now is what I do personally, being who I am, to raise my vibrations and keep high vibrations. So I don't like that repetitive story because this is my thinking. If I'm not able to take action, if I'm not able to either donate money or time to a cause, commit to it somehow, and volunteering, speaking up, speaking out, if I'm not able to do those things, then I need to let it go. And that's exactly what I do. I'll read about things, but then I let them go. I will hear them. I want to know what's going on the world, excuse me. That's very important to me, but I don't want to retain it on myself, on my body, in my mind, in my heart, and just on my physical self. So I let it go. So what do we do? How do you know what you're watching on your news story, and whether you're watching even a channel, a news station that's filled with a high percent of negative stories, criticisms, or events, just the portrayal of others, and not a station or a news channel that have at least an equal amount of stories of encouragement, happiness, love, and kindness. So if you found a station that has like 50-50 on that, you're doing well. If you don't and it's mainly negative, you're doing this to yourself every day. At the end of the day, you're coming in and you're turning on the news after an already rough day where you've probably had to work hard, had to deal with different things. Maybe we're in traffic, maybe rush, had to pick up kids, whatever your daily life entails. You're then going home to your place of relaxation and watching a bunch of negative events, stories, criticism, and things. And that just wasn't working for me. That was not okay for me anymore. It wasn't healthy for me. I've seen, and it's not just me, I've seen it in other members of my family. My mom, who's had some medical issues, it was compounded by the election. She was so focused on the candidate that she did not like and did not agree with that it took over her. And I saw that occurring in her, and I kept telling her, you got to stop reading the stories, you got to stop reading it. It's not helping you, it's not doing any good at all for you or anybody. So it was like, to me, it's like a waste of time. So I don't want to waste my time. Instead, I want to use my time for the best in growth for me, or to service to others, or my family, my children, or my mother, whoever it is, my ohana, who I consider those who I truly care about, or issues that I truly care about. outside of family. So what do? I tend to look for things on mindfulness, on health, self-help, alternative healing, and then on any shows or series. If it's a series, fantasy is great. You know, I love the Marvel series. I love the Disney Plus and what they're doing with this series that they have on, because it's just a fun and it's a fantasy, and you don't take it as if it's real. Although I do see so many, it's like mirroring life, what's happening now. You know, there was an episode just recently, if you haven't seen uh, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it took me a little bit to get into it, because at first, you know, my daughter and I were watching it together, and we're like, we would only, you know, it's like, this is all about war and military. And you know why that is great, and it's wonderful. It's just not our highest interest, you know? So it took a little bit for us to get into it, although we love the acting. The actors are just phenomenal. And the story, the backstory now as it developed, oh my gosh, it's just really, it's one of those that are different. It's a different storyline, although you see similarities in it, but it was different. But I love this last episode where the Falcon, and if you haven't seen it, it's spoiler alert coming right now, where the Falcon becomes the uh, the new Captain America, and his speech and his ideas of being it, and the 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 way the show deals with racial issues is just so now. It seemed so now for me. And I know it could go even a little bit further, but to see that type of programming now on TV, on, you know, it's a pay-per-view, a pay station or whatever, it's just, and it just is enlightening. And I can't tell you how it warmed my heart to see that kind of change in our shows and what we watch. So yeah, I do watch series, I do watch fantasy, but I watch things that kind of teach me about life and how people will behave under different circumstances. And then I watch a lot of documentaries. I watch a lot of movies that are based on true stories, that show that true struggle and hope and survival. I'll also watch movies that depict love or people or humanity in the way that I see love, people, and humanity, and I want it in my life. So, you know, for years, it's funny because for years I didn't watch horror movies. I just didn't. I didn't like them. Um, you know, fantasy ones, yeah, vampires and zombies. I watch all that because that's like a fantasy thought. But I couldn't watch the ones about like serial killers unless they were true stories and I know the outcome already. But like Friday the 13th, oh my God, I still remember leaving the theater and holding my hands over my ear and closing my eyes and getting up and walking out because I just couldn't take it. It was just too much for me. And then later in life, I started watching them because I was with somebody who watched them a lot and I tended to watch them then. And I now am back to where I don't. They really don't benefit me at all. It doesn't benefit me many times to watch something that is just going to make me jump, feel my heart scared, and have this tension and this tense feeling. It's like, no, I don't want to do that. That decreases my vibration. So I want to stay on high vibrations, and I don't watch them on a regular basis. That doesn't mean I don't watch them at all. I don't watch things like that on a regular basis. I don't watch. It's so weird. It's really basically the news that I talk about because real life is much scarier sometimes than movies lately are, and I don't want to repeatedly expose myself to that feeling of tension, of pain, emotional pain, and suffering. if I can't do something about it. Now remember, I keep saying, if I can't do something about it. Okay, why repeat something when you can't or not taking action? That's a waste of my time to repeatedly do something to yourself where you're not taking action on it. You're just kind of going through life and letting those things affect you. And I've made a commitment to myself to not allow those type of stories to affect me anymore. And I found a way to do it while keeping my vibration high and still learning about the world and what's going on. I hope this video helped you. I hope that you are trying to do some of these manifestation techniques and using the techniques and eating well and improving yourself and inner growth, because the more of us that become our best selves, the better the world will be overall. And that's I know that's my goal in myself, to become the best self possible, to just do what I can to not only improve my life but improve the lives of others. That's part of what the whole aloha again is to, live with love and kindness and generosity, with those intentions in your thoughts, in your actions, in your words and your deeds. Just exude love, kindness, and generosity, and make the world, make yourself better. And in turn, it'll help your community, help your family, and it'll just trickle out. And it'll then come back to you. The universe will bring those things back to you in abundance. And I hope that you find my channel and my videos helpful. And if you do, please subscribe. Feel free to subscribe, like, or comment, and hit the bell if you want to get notifications, because my channel is really devoted to Hawaii and then empowering women, but anyone can use my techniques. So I will sign off and say aloha again.